Today I will be breaking down push and pull factors in 5 minutes, but first I want to show you what not to do when you move. Moving, like they were doing in the video, is part of life and people move for a lot of different reasons. Some things push people to move to where they live. Other things will pull people to move to a particular location. For example, recent refugees from Honduras have been caravanning to the US and are seeking asylum in the United States because they've been pushed out of their homeland due to war. Another example is the Mormon pioneers who are pushed out of Illinois and Missouri because of religious persecution. A final example of people being pushed out of their homeland is the Irish people who were pushed out of Great Britain and Ireland during the Great Famine that lasted from 1845 to 1849. People can also be pulled to move to a particular place as well. For example, many retired people will move to Florida, where the weather is warm and better for those aging. About 19% of Florida's population is 65 and older. Many migrated to the US during the 1800s and went through screening at Ellis Island. These immigrants came to America because they sought for a better life. The United States' economic opportunities pulled people there. Some people are pulled to live somewhere because it is safer, the schools are better, and medical facilities are nicer. My parents moved to Elon, North Carolina because my dad got a job there. But also we moved there because it was beautiful, the schools are excellent, and crime is relatively low. Migration, the movement of people, is sometimes voluntary and other times involuntary. Being pushed out of your home into another land, such as the Irish because of famine, is involuntary. But seniors moving to Florida is voluntary because they're pulled there and they have a choice in whether or not they want to live in Florida. They're not pushed there or forced there. So what are the consequences created by people moving? We're going to look at a historical example and then see how it impacts our life today. In 1847, the first group of Mormon pioneers made it to Utah. They were heavily persecuted in Illinois and their leader was killed. They felt the safest option was to move out west where they could escape persecution and experience religious freedom. By the 1900s, Mormons from Europe were moving out to Utah to follow those from the United States who had experienced persecution. In total, about 50,000 Mormons from the British Isles and 30,000 Scandinavian Mormons had immigrated to Utah. There are also small groups of people from Germany, Switzerland, the Netherlands, Italy, France, Australia, and the South Pacific Islands that were moving to the Intermountain West. This migration has impacted the ethnic distribution in Utah today. As you can see from this graph of the population in Utah in 2017, about 91% of Utah's population is white. Because it was primarily white Europeans and Americans that settled Utah over 100 years ago, the population still greatly reflects the ethnicities that had migrated and lived in Utah. Today, many are being pulled to Utah for a variety of reasons. Schooling, recreation, and job opportunities are just some of those reasons. This has changed Utah. Some of the consequences of Utah's increased population due to migration is the UVX system that provides public transportation throughout Utah. Also, the housing shortage for students has brought about more apartment buildings in Provo. People move for a variety of reasons. Sometimes they're pushed to move away and sometimes they're pulled to move somewhere new. Sometimes it is voluntary and sometimes people don't really have a choice but to move. People moving has consequences such as overpopulation, bump in housing market, or the shutting down of a business because too many have moved out of town. But overall, understanding push and pull factors can help us to see the consequences that it has in our life today.